Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded a video to my channel, but last year it was a crazy year. Life definitely got in the way between work and my freelance and a bunch of conventions. I think I did 8 conventions last year. Yeah, it was nuts. I now officially have a new shiny computer so I can work more efficiently and be able to maintain this channel a bit better than I have in the past year. So we're going to dive right into today's video. For this video, I'm working on a piece of Amethyst from Steven Universe as a mermaid. Anybody that knows my work knows that I love drawing mermaids and cute sea creatures, and Amethyst is my favorite character from Steven Universe. So I hope I did her justice, and I hope you enjoy watching. So in my last video, which was far too long ago, I mentioned that I was going to do some Twitch streaming. However, I ran into a roadblock. The computer setup that I had, my older computer, just really wouldn't run OBS with the latest software updates. So whenever I could try to take over my husband's computer and stream for a little bit, but it was just a few times, it was far between, and typically in pretty small intervals. And this piece started as one of those streams, and then I just finished it in my own time. I initially was going to take this into Photoshop as a full Photoshop painting, but decided to do it in Illustrator instead. It's one of my favorite programs. I worked on this piece over the course of 2 days, and at one point here you'll see a small jump between me going from Photoshop and then into Illustrator. There's a little gap where I didn't record, and it's just me making some modifications, mostly to her head size, changing the number of fingers on her hands before I moved over into Illustrator. So while working in Illustrator, I definitely spent a lot more time on the line art on this piece than I usually do, and I was really trying to push my line weight. And this is one of the biggest reasons I like working in Illustrator. I can get those really crisp lines. I can add to them, adjust them, make them thinner and thicker, and then smooth it out and still maintain that vector line. So a quick note here, when I'm working on the end of her whip handle, you'll see that I've got this crazy 3D thing going on. I was using a 3D capability in Illustrator to really get the shape and perspective right on this. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on how I did it, just because it's a bit of a pain. If you guys are interested, I can maybe do a tutorial in the future, but I tend to get more questions from you guys about picking colors and making patterns, so that's what I want to focus on first. When I was designing Amethyst as a mermaid, I wanted to incorporate a bit of her character into the design as well. In the show, she transforms because she's a shapeshifter, and she transforms into a cat quite frequently. And then she's even got this wrestling persona in an episode called The Tiger Millionaire. And so I decided to base her off of a tiger shark. One, for a bit of play on words, but then also because she's a bit brazen, which really fits a tiger shark's personality really well. And then I added some starfish on her tail because she's got stars on her leggings. So it was a fun little draw right from her character design. She did give me a little more trouble than I thought she was going to, mostly because of her limited color palette. I didn't want to go super crazy, but I did struggle a bit, especially when it came to working on her tail. I initially was going to go with that dark tail because she wears those dark leggings in the show, but I didn't want the tail to feel like it was just plopped on there or that she was just wearing a tail. I wanted it to feel like she was a mermaid and she's a full mermaid character. So I did a lot of minute adjustments with the color, and I ended up lightening the tail color quite a bit. And over on the left, you'll be able to see the rough color comp that I brought over from Photoshop. And those colors are mostly color picked from screenshots directly from the show. And I did some little adjustments here and there to unify everything. So those are primarily the colors that I'm using when I'm working on here. But for the colors, I wanted to pick some nice in-between colors from the colors that I had from Photoshop. So I start by picking 2 or 3 colors and creating a blend of those colors, and then saving them to the color palette to work from as I continue on the piece. So I'm going to give a brief tutorial on how I do these color blends. So I start with 2 objects of different colors. Typically these are my lightest and darkest shades, and they don't have to be of one color. And with both of them selected, I'm going to go to Object, Blend, and then Make. And then go to Object, Blend again, and this time click on Blend Options. And here I can change that drop down to specified steps, and then in that little box I'm going to change the number anywhere from 3 to 5. This is basically breaks down that big gradient blend into solid colored steps. Then you're going to want to go to Object, Expand, and then click OK in that next window, and that will give you separate objects instead of one big blended object that you can't really do anything with. And with those separate objects still selected, you can create a new color group over in your swatch panel, and it'll save each of those color steps for you to grab from later. And I'm going to show you one more example, except this time I'm going to do 3 colors instead of 2. And I'll blend them together like I did with the last one, expand them, and then add them to my swatch panel. And now I have a nice blended selection of blues and purples to pick from. And then I start adding on the Tiger Shark markings, trying to keep them rough and organic instead of those pointed stripes that you typically see in cartoons. Everything in this piece is very round, even her hair strands, so those sharp stripes just wouldn't have worked well. Now, since Amethyst is all purple and I usually use purple to shade, I decided to switch that up and use a blue to shade her with, to really cool down that purple, since the purple is definitely a warmer tone. So continuing with that blue, I work my way through the piece, shading her hair, her skin, her tail, and those little starfish, making sure to maintain a constant light source. And as I work, I'm clipping all the highlights and shadows using the Pathfinder tool, which I gave a little tutorial on in one of my previous videos, so make sure to check that out if you're interested to know how I go about doing that. So I added the background in Photoshop, and that's about it. I really enjoyed working on this, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. This piece will be up on my Society 6 on different merch if you're interested, like phone cases and bags and such. And if you liked this piece and liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and comment below. Let me know what you guys think, what you want to see in the future, if you guys have any questions at all. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.